The call from the stars. The sleek silver vessel broke through Earth's atmosphere with an elegance that defied its size. Defense systems worldwide tracked its descent as it slowed to a hover over the Pacific Ocean. Unlike any human craft, it emitted no sound and left no vapor trail, just a shimmering distortion where its hull interacted with Earth's air. Inside the United Nations Emergency Council chamber, representatives from every major nation watched the live feed with a mixture of fear and wonder. This was humanity's first contact with an alien species, but it wasn't happening according to any of their prepared protocols. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, announced General Samira Khan, head of Earth's Joint Defense Command. The message repeats in multiple languages. They're calling themselves the HFY, and they're requesting help. Admiral James Chen raised an eyebrow. Help. From us. The alien delegation was escorted to a secure facility in Geneva. Their appearance startled even the most prepared officials. The HFY stood nearly 7 feet tall with lithe, almost skeletal frames. Their skin shimmered with bioluminescent patterns of blue and green that seemed to reflect their emotional state. Most striking were their eyes, 3 irises within each eye, constantly rotating and adjusting. Ambassador Taylor, their leader, spoke through a translation device. We have observed your species for decades. We hoped never to reveal ourselves like this, but our civilization faces extinction. By whom? Asked Dr. Elena Reyes, recently appointed as humanity's first contact specialist. At 43, the former Marine commander and xenobiologist had been preparing for this moment her entire career, though she'd never imagined first contact would come with a plea for military assistance. Taylor activated a holographic projector. The image showed massive, hunched creatures with thick exoskeletons and multiple limbs ending in natural weapons. The Vrax Imperium. They've conquered half our worlds already. They strip planets of resources, enslave populations, and consume those they deem unnecessary. The hologram shifted to show cities burning, Silari being herded into processing facilities, and entire worlds rendered barren. Why come to us? Chen asked. Your technology is clearly superior to ours. Technology isn't everything, Teller replied. The Vrax outnumber us 5 to 1. But most importantly, the HFY evolved as philosophers and builders. We lack, he hesitated, searching for the right word, the warrior instinct. And you think we have it? Dr. Rice asked quietly. Your history confirms it, another auxiliary said. Even now, when you've achieved relative peace among your nations, you maintain powerful militaries and train constantly for conflicts that aren't happening. Most species would see that as a flaw, Rice noted. Most species aren't being hunted to extinction, Teller countered. We found records of your world wars, your Cold Wars. No other known species adapts their entire civilization for conflict with such totality. The Security Council debated for 3 days. Some nations argued against involvement. Others saw opportunity in alien technology. In the end, humanity's decision was made not through cold calculation, but through the images of Silari children in processing camps. The United Nations Extraterrestrial Defense Force was born. Commander Elena Reyes stood on the observation deck of the newly christened Armstrong Space Station, watching as shuttles ferried troops and supplies from Earth. In just 6 weeks, humanity had accomplished what might have taken years under normal circumstances. The station, once intended as a scientific outpost, had been rapidly converted into a military headquarters. Your people work with remarkable speed, Ambassador Teller said, joining her at the viewport. When facing extinction-level threats, humans don't waste time with committees, Rice replied. We've had plenty of practice preparing for the worst. Below them, in the station's massive hangars, Silari scientists worked alongside human engineers. The aliens provided advanced technology while humans adapted it for warfare. What had once been scientific vessels were being fitted with weapons systems designed by minds that had spent centuries perfecting the art of destruction. In another section, intelligence officer Marcus Wong studied Vrak's battle footage. The insectoid aliens moved with frightening speed, their natural armor deflecting most Silari weapons. There, he said, freezing a frame, the joint between their thorax and lower abdomen. Their armor thins significantly there. His team made notes. They had been working around the clock, identifying weaknesses in an enemy they had never met. Their ships are faster than anything we have, one analyst observed. Speed isn't everything, Wong replied. We don't need to outpace them. We just need to hit them where it hurts. On Earth, factories that once built consumer goods now produced armor and weapons. Farmland expanded to grow extra food. Children practiced emergency drills in schools. The entire planet mobilized for war in a way not seen since the 1940s. Ambassador Teller watched all this with growing concern. He had expected humans to send a small professional force, peacekeepers or advisors. Instead, they were transforming their entire civilization into a war machine. Is this normal? He asked Reyes as they toured a training facility where thousands of soldiers practiced urban combat. This is how humans wage war, she answered simply. But you haven't even encountered the Vraks yet, Teller said. Doesn't matter, Reyes replied. If we fight, we prepare to win at any cost. The words sent a chill through Teller's body. 2 months into preparation, alarm sirens blared across Armstrong Station. A Vrak scout ship had been detected near Jupiter, observing human activities. This is our chance, Reyes told her officers. Capture that ship intact. A small strike team launched in a stealth vessel, using Jupiter's massive magnetic field for cover. The operation was quick and brutal. 4 humans died, but they secured the Vrak ship along with 3 live prisoners and valuable intelligence. Their technology is impressive, Wong told Commander Reyes as they examined the captured vessel. But their tactical approach is predictable. They rely too heavily on overwhelming force and intimidation. Pride, Reyes said. They've conquered so many worlds they believe they're invincible. That will be their downfall, Wong agreed. On the day the Earth fleet prepared to launch, Commander Reyes addressed the 35,000 soldiers under her command. Their faces filled screens throughout the assembled ships. We go to fight an enemy that believes itself superior to all life in the galaxy, she said. They have never faced humans before. They have never experienced total war. We do not fight only to win battles. We fight to end wars. To the Vraks who have brutalized the Exilari and who now threaten Earth, your Imperium ends today. As the fleet readied for departure, Ambassador Teller approached Commander Reyes one last time. We asked for help, the Exilari said quietly. I fear we've unleashed something we don't understand. Reyes's expression remained impassive. You wanted warriors. That's what you're getting. The first human warfleet in history activated their Exilari-enhanced engines and vanished into the depths of space, carrying with them humanity's answer to the Vrak's threat. Humanity unleashed. The Exilari colony of Veritax hung in space like a jewel, its once pristine oceans now dark with industrial runoff from Vrak's mining operations. 7 Vrak's battle cruisers patrolled its orbit, their massive hulls bristling with weapons. The Vraks believed the system was secure. They were wrong. Human ships emerged from hyperspace at precisely calculated points around the planet. Unlike the elegant Silari vessels or the intimidating Vrak ships, Earth's warships were practical and functional, their hulls covered with weapons adapted from Silari technology, but modified by human military minds. On the bridge of the flagship Retribution, Commander Reyes watched the enemy ships with cold determination. All vessels report ready. Commander, her communications officer announced. Operation Thunderstrike is go. Begin, Reyes ordered. The human fleet opened fire simultaneously. They had studied Vrak's shield configurations for weeks and knew exactly where to hit. 3 enemy ships exploded before they could even raise alarms. Ground teams deploy now, Reyes commanded. Across the human fleet, dropships launched toward the planet's surface. Lieutenant Sanjay Mehta sat with his squad, checking his weapon one last time. The former Indian Special Forces soldier had trained his people relentlessly for this moment. "Remember," he told them, "the Vraks have never faced humans before. They expect enemies to follow rules of engagement. We don't play by their rulebook." The dropship shuddered as it entered the atmosphere. Around them, other ships were being shot down by ground defenses. Mehta watched through the viewport as one exploded in midair. 30 seconds to landing," the pilot shouted. They hit the ground hard. The doors blew open, and Mehta led his squad into combat. The Vraks' ground forces were as terrifying as the intelligence reports had described. Standing over 8 feet tall with natural armor and multiple arms ending in serrated claws, they moved with frightening speed. But they had never faced human weapons before. Mehta fired his rifle, the special ammunition designed by Wong's team, punching through Vrak's armor at the weak points they had identified. The alien let out a high-pitched shriek as it fell. "Move toward the processing facility," Mehta ordered. His squad advanced through the Vrak's defenses using tactics the aliens had never encountered. Where Xilari fought in orderly formations, humans used cover, misdirection, and ambush. Where Xilari retreated when outnumbered, humans charged. The fighting was brutal. Mehta lost 5 soldiers in the first hour, but they reached the facility where thousands of Xilari were held prisoner. "We're from Earth," he told the first blue-skinned alien he encountered. "We're here to free you." The Xilari stared at him with wide, triple-irised eyes. "Earth," the humans came. "Yes," Mehta said, cutting the restraints from a group of prisoners. "Now help us free the others." In orbit above, the space battle had turned into a tactical showcase. Vrak's reinforcements arrived only to be caught in Commander Reyes's carefully planned trap. Wong's intelligence had been perfect. The Vrak ships were faster and more heavily armed, but their captains were predictable, using the same tactics that had worked against the Xilari for centuries. "They're retreating, Commander," Reyes's tactical officer reported. 3 enemy ships escaping to hyperspace. "Let them go," Reyes ordered. "I want them to tell their leaders what happened here." By nightfall, Veritax was secured. Over 12,000 Xilari had been freed from processing facilities. The cost had been high. 519 humans dead, hundreds more wounded, but the victory was total. Ambassador Taylor, who had accompanied the fleet, walked through the main camp where the rescued Xilari gathered. They looked at the humans with a mixture of gratitude and fear. "I had no idea," Taylor said to Commander Reyes. "The way your people fight." "This is just the beginning," Reyes replied. "The Vraks wanted an enemy. Now they've got one." The human fleet pushed deeper into Vrak's territory, liberating Xilari worlds one by one. Each victory taught them more about their enemy, and each battle refined their tactics. Where the Vraks expected frontal assaults, humans attacked from multiple directions. Where the Vraks defended their command centers, humans struck at supply lines and communication relays. On the Xilari world of Narala, human forces introduced a new tactic. While the Vraks were engaged with the main assault, small teams infiltrated their bases and planted explosive devices at key structural points. Entire fortresses collapsed, burying Vrak's troops beneath them. "This is not how wars are fought," a captured Vrak's commander hissed at Lieutenant Mehta. "There are traditions, protocols." "Not our traditions," Mehta replied simply. The Vrak's high command, for the first time in their history, found themselves forced to adapt. They began changing their tactics, becoming more cautious, less predictable. But human innovation outpaced them at every turn. When the Vraks developed countermeasures against human weapons, Wong's team created new ones. When the Vraks moved their processing facilities underground, humans deployed sonic disruptors that turned the Earth itself into a weapon. When the Vraks attempted to use Xilari hostages as shields, humans developed non-lethal methods to incapacitate the insectoids while leaving the hostages unharmed. 6 months into the campaign, the Vrax launched a massive counteroffensive. 500 ships descended on the human-controlled Xilari homeworld of Xilora Prime. Commander Reyes had anticipated this move and prepared accordingly. Instead of meeting the Vrax fleet in open space, human ships hid in Xilora's dense ring system. As the Vrax approached, explosive devices planted throughout the rings detonated, sending millions of ice and rock fragments hurtling toward the enemy fleet. The debris tore through Vrax shields and hulls, crippling dozens of vessels before the battle even began. On the ground, the fighting was fierce. The Vrax deployed their elite guard, massive specimens with enhanced armor and augmented weapons. Meta's squad found themselves pinned down in the ruins of an Xilari temple. "We need reinforcements," he called over the comm. "Negative," came the reply. "All units engage. Hold your position." Meta looked at his remaining team. 5 humans and a dozen Xilari who had volunteered to fight alongside them. "We hold here," he said. "Make every shot count." For 3 hours, they repelled wave after wave of Vrax attackers. When their ammunition ran low, they used the temple's stone structures as weapons, collapsing pillars onto advancing enemies. When the Vrax breached their perimeter, they fought hand-to-hand. By the time reinforcements arrived, only Meta and 2 others remained alive, surrounded by dozens of Vrax bodies. In orbit, Commander Reyes directed the battle from the Retribution's bridge. A Vrax missile struck the ship, breaching the hull and killing 17 crew members. Reyes wiped blood from a cut on her forehead and continued issuing commands. "Their flagship is vulnerable," Wong reported. "Their starboard shields are down. All ships, concentrate fire," Reyes ordered. The Vrax flagship, a massive vessel twice the size of any human ship, erupted in a series of explosions. The remaining Vrax fleet scattered, retreating to hyperspace. In the aftermath, humans and Xilari worked side by side to rebuild. Xilari scientists, impressed by human adaptability, began collaborating on new technologies. Human engineers, learning from Xilari architecture, designed more efficient spacecraft. 1 year after first contact, the combined human-Xilari fleet approached the Vrax homeworld. Intelligence suggested that the Vrax High Command had gathered there to coordinate a final defense. "We could destroy their planet from orbit," Wong suggested during the planning session. "Their defenses can't stop our new fusion bombs." Commander Reyes shook her head. "We're not fighting this war to exterminate them. We're fighting to end it." Instead of planetary bombardment, Reyes deployed a precision strike team to capture the Vrax leaders. Led by Lieutenant Meta, they infiltrated the heavily fortified High Command bunker and secured the Vrax Imperator and his council. Face to face with the leader of the species that had nearly exterminated his people, Ambassador Teller found himself speechless. "You may dictate your terms," the Imperator hissed, his mandibles clicking in agitation. Commander Reyes stepped forward. "Unconditional surrender of all Vrax forces, immediate release of all Xilari prisoners, withdrawal from all occupied territories, reparations to be determined. And if we refuse?" the Imperator challenged. Reyes's expression didn't change. "Then you will learn what humanity is truly capable of when pushed to its limits." The Vrax surrendered 2 days later. In the years that followed, a tentative peace emerged. The Xilari rebuilt their civilization, incorporating aspects of human culture and technology. The Vrax, under the terms of surrender, began a slow transformation from conquerors to traders. Ambassador Teller and Commander Reyes stood on the observation deck of the new Interspecies Council station, watching ships from a dozen worlds come and go. "When we came to Earth, we sought warriors," Teller said. "What we found was far more complex." "Humans are paradoxes," Reyes admitted. "We fight with everything we have, but we also build with the same intensity. We can wage total war, but we also strive for total peace." The Vrax never understood that, Teller observed. "They saw only weakness in our desire for harmony. And they saw only barbarism in our capacity for violence," Reyes added. Both perspectives missed the truth, which is, Rise looked out at the stars, where human ships now explored alongside Silari vessels. That true strength lies in knowing when to fight, when to build, and when to transform your enemies into allies. The Xilari ambassador's bioluminescent patterns shifted to a deep, thoughtful blue. When we begged for help, we never imagined what humanity would bring to the stars. For better or worse, Rise said with a slight smile, the galaxy will never be the same.